All right, we are back with episode 12. I did a little bit of housekeeping for you guys. Basically, what we've done is I've hopped in our ship here and I've flown over to there. I didn't find any bad guys or anything in here, but I went through and I cleaned out all our loot. I just hit F4 and I connected to our container controller, hit the Wi-Fi button, hit escape, climbed over this, and I went around punching holes in the wall so I can get in and run around and searching for loot, seeing, verifying what's in here and see what we could do. And what I did find an advanced constructor, and I found 4 large generators. We're only going to need 2 for this ship. And let's take a look at the loot we got here. First, we did get a lot of food and medicines and supplies like that. So that's really helpful. But you go inside here and look, we got us a ton of fuel. We got 89 of the large and 133 of the small ones. And then we even got us 55 of the fusion ones. So we're good on fuel. And even if you don't own a facility, sometimes when you use your multi-tool, I just put it on pick up. And what you end up with is, as I was going through cleaning out the cargo boxes, I would destroy them afterwards, kind of a housekeeping thing. So I didn't double click on them. And what you end up with is sometimes, even though you don't own it, it will pick up the entire block. So I ended up with 4 of their decoration blocks. Let's look at one. I'll show you. You can make a number of things. Oh, here we go with this. Back to our Wi-Fi connection. Right click. And you see you can make tables out of it. You could boxes large. They look like refrigerators, but they're not. Cryo chambers. We're hoping one day one of the biggest issues I have with the cryo chamber, which kind of makes playing co-op kind of a pain in the butt. Let's say my nephew, he's in space with me, the very lonely place, and he's on the ship with me. Well, if he logs out, what happens is that if I leave with that ship, when he logs back in exactly where he was standing. And that would be in the middle of space. And if I've warped to another system or whatever, I got to come back and pick him up. So it makes it a little difficult for co-op. You know what I mean? So what I have to do is log into his account, put him in a chair, this way. And even if, say, he's on the ship, and I take off in the ship is literally going to pull away from him. He's got to be sitting down in a chair. So what I do is I log into his account whenever he's on one of my worlds with me and I want to play it without him, or maybe he wants to play Apex Legends or something. I have to put him down into a chair, and then I have to periodically feed him and stuff so that I don't leave him in space. But hopefully we're hoping that one day these cryo chambers will be something more, so that will be a place that you log in and log out of regardless of his position in space. Anyway, you can see some of the cool and neat things that you can turn these things into. Some of them, I think there's a repository they do turn into like storage cases, and you see they don't use any CPU power, so it's just a little bit of storage, and it's kind of neat. Like a locker, you don't see any CPU usage there, and it gives you 250 SU for free. Be a nice place to store some of your armor boosts and things like that. So yeah, there's that. Let's put it back in there. And we did get a piece of heavy armor, and we got all these weapons and stuff. We don't need those, but we're going to collect them. I usually do because I'm a loot goblin. So, and we got ammunition and stuff, and we did get 15 more zirconium, 338 copper, 66 more cobalt, some neodymium, a really good stack of iron to keep us moving. But the one thing we didn't get, of course, is a restrum, but we did get us some Pentax. That's enough Pentax for us to be able to warp with our short-range warp, and when we get our CV to get us to the next solar system. I'm sure there's plenty of it there. Not a whole lot to be making advanced weapons with, but we also got us a second medical device. That just happens to be there, and we got us a T2 repair bay. There's another one that's in there. The T2 repair bay, you need this and a repair console in order to just park your ship right on it. And if you ever take damage to your ship, you land it right on top of this, and then you go to the repair console, and it'll tell you what materials you need to put into it, just like you would the factory. in order for it to repair that ship back to either blueprint or the last template that you saved, like we did in the episode. Now, mind you, this is a red one and not a yellow one, and we need our CV that we're working at right now actually has a space in the roof of this, in the roof of it, to add one of these repair bays to. So hopefully, we'll be able to loot us a repair bay for our CV. If not, we'll make one. We found an advanced constructor here now, so we'll probably pick that advanced constructor up and bring it back if we decide to do the whole repair bay thing. But if not, it's not that big of a deal. But another thing I want to try out with this Let's Play, I do want to do, is somewhere on this planet there's going to be a Polaris Mega Group trading station. And we can actually go there and sell them things and buy things from them. And one of the things they pay big money for is weapons. I don't know if they're going to buy multi-tools, but all the stuff that I don't need that I want to sell, we're going to put in one chest or one container back at our makeshift bivouac house. And then when we're ready to shoot that episode, we're going to load it all into the Heavylift transport, and we're going to fly over there and see what kind of money we can make by selling this stuff and what kind of stuff we can buy from them. Hopefully, if I can't find an EVA or a multi-boost or a jet boost or something like that in one of these POIs, or even a restroom, maybe we could buy what we need from them by selling this junk. So we're going to go to our next POI next episode, and we're going to get ourselves to level 20 so we can start making the this CV. Hopefully, collect some more restroom. So let's get back to the base. And let's sort all this stuff out. I think I'm going to do that off cam and pick up with you guys next episode so that you can see. Oh, the reason why I didn't just fly back to base, I wanted you to actually see this. I wanted you to see how impressive this is. You see me take off, but we're going to look. We're going to see. Make sure you've seen. We are at 14,050 in this. When I first picked up this ship, it would barely pick up 3,500 pounds. And I've modified it so that it can, in fact, fly with weights and volumes on with 14,250 full of ammunition. And I've put the Dart on here, the Iron Bandit, and the hovercraft. Mounted them all to this. It wasn't pretty, but I managed to do it, and it took off no problem. So if you watch. And here's why. Another reason why this is really important. I'll show you why. It was kind of funny, but well, there's a will, there's a way with all of this stuff. What happened was I was in space. I made my first short range warp. Look at my speeds. I am doing climbing. 35 is the maximum I could do. Now we're going to turn with our rear thrusters and move forward. What is that? Let's fly over here and see how fast I can go forward. Oh, that's 4.5 miles away. Oh, I think that might be in space. Yeah, that's in space. So let's go home and see how fast we can go. We are still doing 60, and that's planet side. When you get into space, you can go a lot faster. In order to be able to warp, you have to do... Oh, man, I'm sorry. I got you guys on speaker here. Let me change it over here. Hope that didn't mess up you guys listening to me any. So you see, it's a little slower to get the top speed, but hey, we're heavy. We're doing 60. Whenever you want to warp, the minimum speed for warping is 50. And the first time I did it in this vessel, I could only get to about 28, 29. I couldn't go any faster. And mind you, I'm at the other end of our system, and I got to get home, and I didn't know what to do. So I'm in space. I don't need downward thrust. I need forward thrust. So I jumped out, and I took the thrusters off of the bottom, and I basically just duct taped them to the back of the thing so that I could get up to speed to be able to warp home. And as soon as I got back here in space above the planet, I took them off and put them back on the bottom. And I started getting really, really nervous because what happens when you enter the inner gravity and you don't have enough thrust to keep your vessel in the air, it just falls to the ground. But you can see we have no problems. It's not as fast up, but she's doing just fine. So thanks for watching the episode. See you next time.
They say you don't